Hi everyone, I hope you're doing all great. Finally, I'm back to YouTube with a freebie for you. For those who don't know me, hi, I'm Birgit from Koba.Siani and I'm selling digital sewing patterns on different platforms. You will find the shop links below this video here in the description box. But today's project is totally free and you even don't need a pattern for it. It's a pillow cover for a throw pillow here. This is not the first time I'm making a similar project here with you on YouTube. But this one here is a rather advanced option with a zipper here with an invisible zipper in one of the seams. And I'm also making these pipings here around the corners. If you are rather new to this hobby and want to make an even simpler version of a throw pillow cover, I will link you here another YouTube video for me here with an easier option without zipper. But in this video here I won't only show you how to sew these pillow covers, but also how I made inlet of these. These are not only filled with wadding or some similar material. The inside of my new throw pillows are made out of real pillows to sleep on for beds. And I hope the special material is more stable than the normal wadding in throw pillows. But more to this in this video. So I would say let's start into this fun project. Grab some fabric rests from your stash, some invisible zippers, and let's go! Have fun! So at first I'm making the pillow filling out of IKEA Rumsmalvas. These are regular pillows which are 80 cm wide and 40 cm high. I'm unpacking the pillows completely and then cutting them into half. And of course I also try to divide the filling exactly into half. A little bit of that filling I'm removing and putting it into this box here, but don't worry, I'll add it later to the pillow again. Then I'm folding the open edges to the inside for 1 cm, pinning these and then closing this side almost completely. Through that gap that I've left open, which is about 10 cm long, I'm now restuffing again the pillow with the rest of the material. Here I'm closing the gap, and of course I have to do the same thing with the other side of the original pillow. Okay, so step 1 is done. Then I'm continuing with this inner pillow cover. This also I'm cutting into 2 halves. One of the halves has already got a zipper, so here I only have to close this open side here. I'm sewing with a rather narrow seam allowance to save a little bit material. Afterwards I'm casting the edge. The first inner pillow cover is now ready to be filled with the inside, and now off to the second one. This cover has no zipper yet, so we have to add it now. I'm using a random zipper that I found in my stash, because the color is not so important here. As one open side is not enough here to sew the zipper in, I have to rip one additional seam so that I have enough access, enough room to sew in the set zipper. At the corner, at the end of the seam, I'm leaving around 5 cm perhaps closed. these two new open edges, I'm casting at first with a zigzag stitch, both edges separately of course. Then I'm closing the same side in the other corner for around also 5 cm, so that a kind of window for the zipper is created. Now I can pin the zipper underneath these edges. Afterwards, the zipper can be sewn in. With all that thick material here, you can imagine that it is quite useful to use a thicker needle here. At last, I'm closing the open side and casting afterwards the edge. Now also the second inside pillow cover is ready. So finally we can move on to the real project, the outside pillow cover. I think pipings look really cute on a pillowcase, and this time I'm trying out material from Prym, with which you can make your own pipings, but with this inside cord which usually the store-bought piping has. At first I'm preparing my bias tape, I'm cutting strips with the width of 4 cm, I'm sewing the ends together. I know there are fancy techniques to cut these bias strips, but as I'm using up some fabric rests here, these don't work for me. After pressing apart the seam allowances of the linking seams, it's now time for the Prym piping base. This consists of a cord, and outside there is a layer like interlining, for example, with a gluing surface so that you can glue with the iron your piping fabric to this piping base. By the way, this is no sponsored ad, I just wanted to try out this material, and I'm letting you know some pros and cons down below in the comments. I'm really not sure if I would buy this ever again. For the cover itself, you need 2 squares or rectangles depending on your pillow shape, with the dimensions of your pillow, plus all around 1 cm or 3/8 inch seam allowance. So if your pillow is, for example, 50 by 50 cm big, you would cut 2 squares, which are 52 by 52 cm. Afterwards, please cast the edges of your squares or rectangles with a zigzag stitch of your regular household sewing machine or your overlocker. This is what I've already done here. Next, I'm pinning the piping to the fabric edge. The cord side of the piping should be pointing inwards. Like this, I'm going all around the edge, and when I've reached a corner, I'm clipping the piping fabric for a few millimeters so that I can pin the piping in a rounded shape around the corner. The 2 ends of the piping should overlap and be guided outwards so that they are later included in the seam. Then I baste the piping to the fabric. Because of the thicker cord area, I have to use here my one-sided zipper sewing foot. So like this, I stitch all around the fabric edge. If you'd like to add some extra fringes or pom-poms like me here, you can stitch this on the piping now. Just remember that the nice part, which should be visible later, should point now inwards. Then it's time to make the zipper. At first, I mark the zipper beginning at the top of the zipper. Please do this on both zipper tapes. Then I mark the beginning and the end of the zipper on the fabric. I do this on both of my squares at the top and at the bottom. The distance of this mark from the lower and the top edge is around 4 or 5 centimeters. I then measure the distance in between these two marks and transfer this to the zipper. This measurement is the zipper opening later and has to be the same on the zipper and the fabric sides. Then I can pin the zipper to one of the fabric pieces with their right sides facing. I take care that all marks are aligning here. Also, the zipper tape edge is aligning with the fabric edge. Then I open the zip for a better access for the sewing foot. The seam I do now is exactly from pin to pin or from mark to mark. I use my special sewing foot for invisible zippers here, but you can also do this with a normal one-sided zipper sewing foot. The important thing here is really to sew only from mark to mark. Then I repeat the exact same steps at the other side of the zipper. For pinning the other side of the zipper to the fabric, it is of course easier to close it first. Then for sewing, I'm opening the zipper again. The second side of the zipper I have to sew with a normal zipper sewing foot because of the piping or the cord inside the piping, which is getting in my way otherwise. The special sewing foot for invisible zippers is useless here. Again, I'm only sewing from mark to mark. As you can see it here, I'm trying to push the zipper teeth a little bit open as they are rolled in. But anyways, this is not so important like for any other invisible zipper positions, as this space here won't be very visible later because of the piping. Afterwards, I'm pinning together both fabric layers of the pillowcase with their right fabric sides together. And again, I take care that the marks align. Now I sew all around the edges to join both fabric layers. I'm sewing again with the zipper sewing foot because of the piping again. I start and end my seam at the marks. There I'm also pulling the zipper tape to the side so that I can get as near as possible to my mark. And at the corners I'm sewing not sharp corners but rounded ones, just the way I've fixed the piping to the fabric before. It's also really very important that you leave your zipper a little bit open, otherwise you have no opening to turn around your pillowcase to the right fabric side later. Here is now already the end of the seam, the other mark, and again I'm pulling away the end of the zipper tape. Okay, so everything what's left to do is to turn around the pillow cover to the right fabric side and fill it with your pillow. So that's it, the pillows are ready to be placed on the sofa. I hope everything worked out for you. If not, of course, don't hesitate to contact me, or if you have any questions, just write me here on YouTube a comment below the video or write me to info@Koba.Siani. By the way, this throw pillow project is part of a bigger living room makeover and I'm sharing more about this on my Instagram account. So if you want to know what's happening here in our living room, deco-wise, tune in to my Instagram handle Koba.Siani sewing patterns. I would love to see you there. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel here and leave me a thumbs up, that would help me a lot. And see you very soon again to my next video. Bye!